That when you and I, when we lose a sense of God's holiness, that's a sign that we maybe are entering a spiritually dangerous place. Jesus says, obey my commandments so you can remain in my love. What that simply means is whether you're a believer or not a believer, whether you've come to the place where you've placed your faith and trust in Jesus or you haven't, that if you step outside of God's loving commandments, and Pastor Jonathan talked about this last month as it relates to those guardrails, right? Those guidelines. And when we step out of those, and we tend to suffer. We don't have that same loving protection as we would if we did life the way God designed it to be. If we didn't allow the darkness in our hearts to influence or dictate the decisions that we make. We have to remember that God is perfect and holy, that sin cannot be in God's presence, that sin is literally the enemy of God. And so Jesus comes at sin with very strong language, in a very direct way. And so let's talk about that tonight, and let's talk about sin. Let's talk about the things that separate us from a perfect and holy God. You see, a God who is perfect in morality, in justice, and in love, and a humanity that is imperfect in all of those things. And we see the brokenness that it brings to this world. But Jesus doesn't want us to misunderstand. Jesus doesn't want us to buy into any lies. He is the truth. And so he wants us to know the truth about sin.